Hey Misfits, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Shawnicorn of Shawnicorn Mindshift Coaching, a trauma recovery coach. I am certified health and life coach, trauma-informed care practitioner, and a therapeutic arts facilitator. And today, I'm finally ready to talk about what happened with my adult children. I wanted to start off by letting you know that I know I am not emotional saying this or talking about this anymore. And that's how I know I am ready to have this conversation. I know that I don't owe anyone this. I'm doing this because it helps heal me a little more when I provide insight, and I know it helps others. So for a long time, I didn't want to talk about my kids at all. Like, not publicly, barely privately. And the reason wasn't that I didn't care. It was shame. I told myself that if I didn't have my children in my life, then I must be a failure as a mother. And I carried that belief quietly for years. So, to be clear before I go any further, I didn't walk away from my children. I did not abandon my children. What happened wasn't sudden. It happened slowly over time. And they were adults by the time this happened. As the last year of my marriage went on, contact with both of my kids began to change. Calls went unanswered, texts went unanswered, or I'd hear back days later, weeks, short, distant responses. And even as that was happening, I kept reaching out. I kept trying. There were moments that made it impossible to ignore what was happening. Mother's Day came and went, no call. My birthday came and went, no call. Christmas came and went, no call. Each time I told myself a story just to survive it. They were busy. That I was asking for too much. That I shouldn't need anything. Yet the truth is, the distance didn't look the same with both of my kids. With my daughter, the distance was quiet. She just stopped talking to me altogether. There was no cruelty, just silence. And honestly, I'm thankful. Because with my son, there was contact. Yet it often felt demanding, transactional, and mean. He would reach out when he wanted something, usually money. And when I finally said no one time, when he put himself in a situation and expected me to fix it, the call stopped. And that wasn't a one-off. that was part of a pattern. Over time, the way he spoke to me became openly contemptuous. He told me to take my teenage drama elsewhere. He called me a liar. He told me I was dead to him. He told me he only had one mother, and I wasn't it. Those words weren't said once in a moment of anger. I lost where I am. That was how he spoke to me. Recently, I reread those messages as the person I am now. I read them yesterday, actually. And while they still hurt, they didn't devastate me like they did before. It was a gut punch back then. Now, I can finally see what was happening clearly. This wasn't someone temporarily upset or reacting. This was repeated cruelty, including during times when I was grieving, like when a loved one was passing away. There was never a reason to be that cruel. Never. For a long time, I was deeply confused by one thing. I loved my son, and at the same time, I did not want anything to do with him. That contradiction tore me apart. I thought something was wrong with me. Now I understand. I loved him. I love him. And the relationship was harming me. Both of those things can be true. I stayed longer than I should have because of mom guilt. My mother took custody of my son when he was a baby. I did not give custody up. And because of that, I was more lenient with him than I was with my daughter. I regret that. I was not a perfect mother. And I know I was a good one, often. Other children saw that. My nephews saw that. I know the kind of care and love that I gave. What finally broke me wasn't one message or moment. It was staying tethered to breadcrumbs. Reaching out, being rejected, reopening my abandonment wound over and over and over again. I was unhealed at the time, and staying in that space was destroying me. I felt like I was dying a million deaths every fucking day. I wasn't suicidal. I didn't want to leave this world. For many years, my kids were the reason I stayed alive when things got really bad. And even when the grief was because of them, I still didn't want to leave. I just couldn't live like that anymore. I couldn't keep waking up asking myself, what did I do wrong? What can I fix? How do I make them love me again? I did not make the decision to step back lightly. It came from countless sleepless nights and more tears than I can count. I didn't block them. I didn't disappear. I simply changed proximity. I unfriended them on Facebook. I stepped back because I could not heal while staying in a dynamic that was actively harming me. For a long time, I believed what was being said about me. I believed I was a terrible person. I believed I had failed as a mom. I believed I failed my son, my daughter. I don't believe that anymore. I now understand that decisions were made about me without ever asking me if any of it was true. I understand that narratives were distorted, and I understand that my son's behavior mirrors my mother's behavior, which makes sense because she raised him. People aren't bad. Their behaviors are. And I can say his behavior toward me was toxic and unhealthy. And I can say this now, honestly and without fear. I love my son, and I do not want him in my life. That sentence finally feels okay in my body. Just like I love my mother and my sisters, and I do not want them in my life. I don't hate them. I hate what they did to me. And I know they will not change because they don't see a problem with their behavior. So I changed. If you won't change, I will move out of the way. So I did. I bit my tongue for far too long. I protected people who harmed me. And all I did was make them resent me and make me resent them and question my fucking sanity. No more. No more. What's done in the dark festers. And I'm bringing what happened in the light. Not for revenge, yet for reclamation. This happened. It affected me. I will not pretend it didn't. The more I speak my truth, the more parts of me heal. And I know that by speaking it, others will see that they're not alone. I'm not shrinking into the fucking wallpaper anymore. I don't need permission to speak. I finally realized the only permission I ever needed was my own. And I'm at peace with that. If this resonated with you, please do the things, hit the buttons. I appreciate you. And let me know in the comments. Have you gone through something like this? What did you do? I've learned that there's really no right or wrong, just right for you.